Hello, everyone. It's good to invite you guys to another episode of
The
the Basin
Basin.
podcast with Boss and EJ.
Yep.
So we were talked about our lives, like where you and I,
Oh yeah, I
and
remember.
it's what's interesting though, because you and I have this ancestry.
We don't have the same
No, not
ancestry,
ancestry.
babe.
No, I think about
That would
country,
make us.
country. That would make us siblings. Country of origin.
Yeah.
I'm from Nigeria. I was born in Nigeria. You were born in Nigeria. Obviously, we grew up here. We've been in America for over 2 decades of our lives.
Yeah.
Right? You came when you were 13. I came when I was 14.
Yeah.
So really, our life kind of started here. But what questions the questions I normally get is people are like, "Did you meet EJ in Nigeria?"
That is such a weird question to me.
I was 14 years old.
Well, they wouldn't know that we were 14 when you came. So the question makes sense, but it also doesn't.
Yeah.
Because when we tell people that we are both Nigerians, originally from Nigeria, of course we're Nigerian Americans, right?
Yeah.
But original country was Nigeria.
Are we
So
Nigerian Americans or American Nigerians?
whatever.
It confuses
We are
me.
Nigerian
Alright,
Americans, right?
Yeah.
So but as Nigerian Americans, we tell people that, and
Yeah.
then the first question is, did you meet in Nigeria? And that blows my mind because I want to answer that question in all honesty. But I'm like, if you see an Hispanic person, are you going to ask them, did you meet in Mexico? Or if you meet a French person, like a French couple, they are both French, would your first question be, did you meet in France? Why do you ask that? We've gotten asked that so many times
I think there's a side to it because we're in a place where, like you and I, we grew up in New York City.
Yeah.
Like New York City is such an immigrant city. Like everybody's from somewhere.
But I think I'm just trying to get into that question. When people ask, did you guys meet in Nigeria? What makes you think we met in Nigeria just because we are both Nigerians?
I mean, there's a possibility because look, I think on one side, people have not met many Nigerians.
That is hard to believe. I don't believe that.
A lot of times you see black people, right?
Yeah.
A non-black is not thinking, oh wow, they could be different. A lot of times people just see black people or people just see Africa. So there's a tendency to just see black people. You can't tell like, oh, this person is a Nigerian ancestry.
So let's tell the people, how did we meet from your perspective? And then I'll share my perspective. How did you get to know about me? I even know that EJ, there's a girl called EJ.
EJ existed.
Yeah.
So the first time you came to my house with a couple of friends in 2006, but I honestly there were a bunch of ladies, part of a worship team. I wasn't aware. I can't remember how those guys looked like or was not. But I sensed that there was a girl there that was staring at me.
It's a lie.
No, I had the sense
that
there was a girl that was piercing into me.
It's a lie.
That was my first awareness.
It's a lie.
No, no kidding. and then 2007, a friend of ours got married. And I'm trying to recollect like the first, like what was the feat of a moment. Everything started with meeting you through the wedding, preparing for the wedding, and you becoming my partner. And I had a sense that you were going to be my partner.
So that was, this is actually new for me. So you were saying that the day of the wedding, actually not the day of, when we were preparing for the wedding, that was the first time you knew about me? That was the first time you ever knew?
Let me take a step back. Yeah, that probably was the first time I got to
That's crazy.
The wedding, the preparation for the wedding.
That was the first time you knew about me.
I think awareness was very an account.
So I knew about you before you knew about me then. Ha ha ha.
No,
that's good to know.
Let me take a step back. There was a friend that was already crushing on you, but I wasn't sure. I can't take, but I think it was after.
Did he tell you about me by then?
No, I don't think so. I think it was.
So you didn't know about me at all?
I didn't know about you, honestly. I didn't know about you.
So I had a crush on you before you even knew about me. Look at that.
No, we met through the wedding. How did you have a crush on me? You met me through preparing for the wedding. A friend of
mine. So anyway, say your story.
So the mutual friend, a friend of ours got married. I happened to be part of the groomsmen. You were part of the train as well. And it was funny because that's where we had interaction. And I was crushing on you. I liked you. I really did. And then somehow I had a sense that we're gonna connect. And then the 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 pastor Mises came in and said, "Oh," because there was another lady that was my partner, was a friend of mine. She was like, "Oh, this person should not be your partner. This person should be your partner."
I know
So it
that.
almost felt like
That felt so prophetic. It was
almost,
so
it was
weird.
prophetic, but I also think she was matchmaking. But but then you became my partner, which was interesting, and it worked out.
The way she
And
changed it,
she
though,
just
blew
changed.
my mind.
She said height, but I felt like there was a lot more happening beyond the height. But then you became my partner, and it was just meant to be. And I was liking. I did. I was questioning you. I was like, wow, this girl. And I think it was pretty organic. It was pretty innocent. Our conversation. I think it would have been difficult for me if I was already crushing on you prior, and then I meet you, and I think it would have been.
It would have been harder for you to talk.
But
Yeah,
at
yeah.
the same time, I was a little bit like, is this girl straightforward? Is she shady? Because at that point, throughout the whole wedding, I wanted to spend more time with you. But I also noticed that there were other guys you were talking to, or they were talking to you.
Absolutely.
And at that point, I'm like, this girl I'm liking. This girl might be a flirt.
Oh my God.
I might need to go back and stay in my lane.
That is so
But
funny.
interestingly, no, I feel like I liked your demeanor, like my experience of you. But I also sense that there were other guys that liked you.
That wedding is. Anyway, go ahead. I'll tell my part later. Go ahead.
Yeah, but honestly, I think I don't even know how we got each other's number. I honestly don't know.
We exchanged it at the wedding.
We just exchanged it at the wedding. We just became friends. And after that, I think we were just texting or call. And
Yeah.
the call was probably like once in a while. But then I also showed up at you guys' church a few times because
Yeah.
you were living in Queens, New York.
Yeah.
And I was living
The
in
Bronx.
In the Bronx.
The
No,
BX.
people make fun of me. The Bronx. No, BX. The Bronx, New York. And honestly, I think me showing up in the church a few times too, when you guys were in the old building, the old church, I became more aware, like, wow, she's beautiful. And we stayed in touch even when I went to college upstate. But it was funny because then you got into an interesting relationship, and then everybody knew about it, and every conversation with mutual friends was all about EJ's this boyfriend, and they're so in love with each other. But I had a sense. But the interesting part, like I think
I call it a counterfeit.
no, the counterfeit boyfriend.
The enemy sent the counterfeit before the real one.
No, interestingly, no. The whole time you were no. The crazy part is the whole time you were going out with this. Everybody like you were happy because this person was doing a lot. They put you on the billboard in.
It's a lie.
In New
Stop.
York City. I think you photoshopped.
Stop.
It was a Photoshop, but there was a photo like
That
a billboard.
happened?
Yeah, I put it on Facebook back then. And
Oh, wow.
And they were like, you guys are bracelets and
We
together.
did.
There were a lot of things, but everybody, I mean, people I knew, the mutual friends that were going to church that we got to meet and then we went to college, they were always talking about EJ's in love. But you know what was interesting though? In my spirit, something was telling me that you weren't happy. Something was telling me that this relationship, it's not as mutual as what people, but I kept quiet. But I was also like, what delayed my interest in you was a friend of mine. She also came to me at some point and said, he liked you. He was a good friend.
All these counterfeit men kept
So
coming.
I didn't push. I didn't make any effort for a few years.
Yeah.
And then fast
That
forward,
pissed me off though.
that I didn't ask you out.
No, like you were giving way to other guys. Like you should be
Yeah.
like fighting. Like, listen, I don't care if you
Look,
like
man,
her.
look,
I
look,
like her
look,
too.
girl,
Made
girl,
the biggest guy
look.
or the survival of the fittest. That's what I wanted.
I love to create my own lane.
No.
But when I see a crowd going into
You were gonna allow that guy have his way.
Like you though. Like if I see a crowd of people flock into a particular person, I create my own lane because I just don't.
Well, we're friends.
Yeah, but we were friends. But I felt like there were a lot of flies coming after you.
And you allowed them
Flies
to
of
come.
guys.
You
What
should have
would
been
I
like, get
do?
out of the way.
I have not
That's
marked,
my
I've
girl.
not marked my territory.
No. Anyway.
But fast forward though, I think organically, and our friendship was platonic, so it was easy to talk to you about life and connect.
Yeah.
And honestly, it was occasional. It was like once a year I would talk to you.
It's a lie. We talk like every other
I
month.
think
It
once a
wasn't
year-
daily. It was
I
like
think
every other
at some
month.
point it went to like every other month, but it was platonic. It wasn't.
I wish we
but-
saved our text messages from then.
Yeah, it was cool. But I'm glad. I think you and I was going into my own person. I think it was necessary, and you were. Fast forward to a couple of years later, you called me. At that point, I was willing to, because I was focused on my career, wanted to stabilize of all that stuff. And I think you asked me a question like, what are we? Are we friends? Are we casual? And you were like, you're okay with whatever I answer. Are we going somewhere? And I was like, oh, dang, she got moved. She's bold. But because I had an interest in you and I liked you, I was interested as well. There was no way. I feel like in my spirit, if I had said no, that was the point I would have missed out on you.
I was ready. I told myself that day, that was the boldest things I've ever
and it
done.
was funny because even before then, a couple of years before, I told my sister-in-law, and you might not like this, but I was like, I sensed in my spirit that there are three girls in my purview right now that I'm kind of interested in, and one of them is gonna be my wife. And one of them I'm gonna be in a relationship with, but I'm really trying to decide just kind of what direction I'm going at that point. So fast forward, I think on that couple of days, you and I were just talking for all night.
It was
like
crazy.
all night long. There were times
Literally,
we did not sleep. Like
I know.
we would just talk and talk and
I know.
now we're married. When was the last time we talked for that long? So now,
Now I have to beg you to talk to me.
For you guys to know, we've been married for 10 years now.
10
years!
Woo!
And
A decade.
It's been beautiful. Like, I love the fact that I didn't come up with you with the intent. We grew up as kids.
Yeah.
Like, I met you.
What do you mean we grew up as kids?
As youth. Like, I was
Yeah,
20,
yeah.
you were 17.
Yeah.
And we it's like, even when you were in a relationship, right, with the counterfeit, I had
This
a
person
sense,
has seen trouble.
I knew everything about you. I
Yeah.
felt like your flaws, your everything. So there was a sense of awareness
Yeah.
that a lot of the things you would tell me after I already had an idea. And I think the only thing I was curious about was if you were intimate. with this
Stop.
person.
Oh my God.
But-
if I had sex, I did not have sex with anybody. You are the first
No.
guy and the only guy I've ever
But I think
slept
that was
with.
that was
And
the
I
only
thank
thing-
God for that.
That was the only thing I was curious about. But honestly, I had a dream before even you came up.
Before
and
you
asked me.
go there, let me to my part. You are going way too far now.
No. Let me
No,
close out.
no,
Let me
don't close out
part.
about that part.
No. I had a dream that it was like, if this girl comes to you and says she wants to be in a relationship, that was a couple of days before you reached out. And she
See,
said,
God, man. God is good.
would you say yes to her? I said yes. And it was funny, that was the time you reached out to me.
Why wouldn't you say yes to me, though?
No, of course. No, it was like, what if she's
I had
already
slept with someone else?
I slept with somebody else. Because for me, I didn't sleep with anybody.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I think I was like, absolutely. I would still have her. And I think it was almost feel like God came up to me. And
That
asked me
was
those
God. No,
questions.
I was not as if that was God. There are certain things that are pivotal in your life that
Yeah.
you don't use your mind to overthink it. That was God.
That definitely was God.
God was like telling you, like, I'm doing my work in my daughter, and I want you all to be together. So be ready.
I've had
Just
some-
like Mary and Joseph. God.
Yeah, I've had some of those Rama moments with my.
Yeah.
That's been interesting. See
But
things happen. Yeah.
I'll say my own side of the story. Some things
Yeah.
that are different. The fact that that day when I came to your house with our friend who was getting married, with my other two girls, it was three of us. We were in the worship team. We just came. I don't know why he wanted to just come and see your brother, and he took us with him after worship
Stop by-
rehearsals.
stop by
Yeah.
my house, yeah.
So the day I came over, that was the first day I glanced at you, because the focus was on your brother and his friends, and we're just like tag-alongs, but you were bringing water or snacks for them.
And the other girls were focused on my brother too.
Everybody was crushing on your brother,
Yeah.
and I couldn't get it. Why are they crushing on your brother? Especially since your brother was dating someone that everybody knew was in a relationship.
And he's always been in the relationship. with
Yeah,
his
so
girl,
your
yeah.
brother was taken, yet all these girls were crushing on him. And just like that, you just walked out with the drinks out, and I just couldn't stop staring at you. And I'm not someone that crushes on guys a lot,
Yeah.
because I feel like I'm not bragging. I get a lot of attention from guys that I don't usually take time to pay attention to guys. I'm very focused on whatever I was doing.
And that's why
So
they're relentless. When
yeah.
they're chasing after you. But anyway, keep
So
going.
when you came out that day, for whatever reason, I felt like there was just like this highlight on you. So I just let that be. I didn't say a word to anyone.
Yeah.
And I continued my life. But in the midst of that, you were friends with someone from my church. And this friend kept talking about you every time I could get a chance. Busi, 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 busi. It was just funny. So at the wedding, why I think now, just jumping into the wedding now, when he was going to get married, and then I was bridesmaid, you were groomsman, and I was partnered with Ola, the tall guy. And in my heart, I was praying like, man, Lord, I just wish they would change my partner.
Yeah.
And then as I was praying that, boom, it happened. I believe, what I wanted to add when you were sharing this part of the story, I believe that I have a relationship with God where there are certain things, if my will is aligned to his will, he makes it happen, babe.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was the first time I ever saw that happen, whereby in my spirit I was praying.
Yeah.
And then within minutes, what I was praying for, God made it happen. Because I remember I was saying to myself, because I couldn't tell anybody, I didn't want anyone to know I had a crush on you.
Yeah.
I was like, God, I really wish I could be partnered with you. Yeah. And then boom, Pastor Mrs. was like, I don't like all this. I don't like how you all are partnered. EJ, go meet Busola. Busola.
I'm curious to know.
I was just like, thank you,
what was going through
Jesus.
her mind, though. I wonder if she also was thinking like, these people would just be together, or she was just doing her own due diligence.
Yeah. So yeah, after she made us partners, I felt like, okay, maybe there's something here. And then on the wedding day, I was looking forward to the wedding, by the way, because we were partners. And then on the wedding day, I felt like we just hit it off. It wasn't hard to talk to you. It was easy. It was like straightforward. Yeah. I felt like you were not doing anything to win me. Like, you know how guys flirt? Yeah. It's so irritating. You were not flirting. You were just being yourself. So I felt like immediately you were one of my...
You're friendly with the guys.
I'm friendly with guys. Yeah. So I felt like automatically in my head, I felt like I had a crush on you. But I told myself, even if nothing happened, I've just gained another friend. Yeah. And I felt so happy with that. Like, oh my God, I like that he's not flirting. He's just being himself. So at the wedding, I felt like I was friends with you. But that wedding was funny because that tall guy, Ola, we hit it off too. Not in a I like him kind of way, but he was a very friendly guy. Yeah. So I spent a lot of my time with him, and I felt like I found it hard to talk to you as much as I wanted to because I was crushing on you. When I'm crushing on someone, I don't know how to talk to them.
As crushing on the other guy too?
No, he's too tall.
No, it was too tall. It was
tall. No, it was just not. It was no. Yeah. There was nothing about him there. For him, he was like a casual friend.
Yeah,
I like
a nice dude.
Easy guy, easy to go talk to. Yeah. Like Emmanuel, like easy to talk to, just a cool guy. So that was how he and I hit it off. But because I didn't like him, I didn't have a crush on him, I could talk to him for hours without feeling anything. But I was nervous. I was trying to like impress you in a way. So I was putting my best. So for that reason, I kind of like stayed away from talking to you as much. Yeah. I didn't want to, I was nervous, but I liked the fact that we hit it off. And from then you went away to Albany for college. I stayed back. Yeah. So the day I called you was the day after I think it was a week or a few days after I broke it off with him. Yeah. And I was in this mental state that I'm done with relationships. Yeah. I'm not even going to think about guys. But before I fully close my heart to dating anybody, let me just respond to what my sister is saying.
It was just one guy.
It was just you.
Yeah.
It was you. I was like, listen, I have work to do. I was leading the choir then. I had school. I was working full time. So when I think about my life then, I was like, listen, with my responsibilities with college, a full-time job, and leading my worship team, I don't have time for guys. I just ended a relationship. Yeah. So for me, let me just close all this door. I don't care who's liking me, who doesn't like me. Let me ask this person that is still in my heart. So me coming to ask you how you felt about me, I was so ready for you to tell me I only like you as a friend. I was so ready. I'm like, whatever he says, Lord, that's it. I'm done. So when you were honest, I'm just so glad you did not hesitate to tell me your heart. I was so, because I feel like if at that time you didn't tell me the truth, you would have lost me. And a week afterwards, it was a week after I asked you that question, we spent day and night talking more than we've done in the past. So we were friends for 3 years, platonic friends.
Yeah.
But the moment you confess your feelings for me, and I also said I liked you too more than a friend, we talked all night.
We
Something
did. It
we've
was so
never
funny.
done in
We
3
were
years.
talking, and you were looking forward to talk like
Yeah.
every night, and we would talk till like 7 a.m.
That was crazy.
We were talking like 7 a.m.
And
we were
then
like,
the what blew my mind the most, we've been friends for 3 years. You finally told me how you felt about me. I told you I felt the same way. And then a week later, you came back and said, you know what? I love you. I was like, what just happened? We went from being friends to I love you in a week.
Yeah.
What? But
because it was meant to be.